Now, for more on Taiwan's success story, we bring you a special interview in honor of the country's National Day. Let's cross now to Daniel Roth with the interview. Daniel, over to you.
Thanks, Ayman. We're joined on set now by Vincent, representative of the Taipei Economic and Cultural Office in Tel Aviv, as well as Doron, vice president of the Israel-Asia Chamber of Commerce. Thanks so much for being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Representative, I'd like to start with you. Taiwan is normally, sort of in global affairs, overshadowed by its neighbor China, both politically and economically in many ways. But the reality is that Taiwan is an economic powerhouse. It's a high-tech hub, making about 90% of laptops. Can you tell a little bit about that economic story, about the economic success story of Taiwan?
Okay, the Republic of China is popularly known as Taiwan. It is situated in the West Pacific between Japan and the Philippines. Taiwan covers the area of 36,000 square kilometers with a population of about 23 million people. Taiwan now is the 22nd largest economy in the world. And the last year, 2015, Taiwan's per capita income, nominal, is $23,355 US, but the purchasing power parity is $47,000 US. The government of the Republic of China relocated to Taiwan in 1949. Then Taiwan was an agricultural land. But now, in the last few decades, Taiwan grows a lot, very fast. The driving force of the fast growth rests on the government policy on education.
Probably it's safe to say that's sort of a value that's shared between Taiwan and Israel. Israel also being a central tech hub, a tech powerhouse in many ways. Mr. Doron, can you speak a little bit to the actually lack of trade between the two countries? Only $1.3 billion in bilateral trade. Why is there this kind of slowdown, if I can call it that, or lack of drive to speed up?
I think that, first of all, between Taiwan and Israel, there are a lot of similarities. That both of them small countries, no raw materials, and both were developing very quickly into the direction of high-tech, very scientific, very technological, to high-quality products. What happened with the Israeli business community, I think that during the last year, since the Israeli government established a diplomatic relationship with China, the Israelis somehow a little bit forgot Taiwan and were running into the Chinese market and trying to do the business there. Actually, there is still a lot of space to do things between Israel and Taiwan. I think many Israeli companies, they can cooperate with Taiwanese company going into the Chinese market. The Taiwanese, they have the same culture. Actually, the biggest investors in China, they are from Taiwan. The biggest private employer in China is Foxconn, a Taiwanese company who is producing the products for Apple. So there are, in the high-tech industry, and even Israel as a startup nation, a lot of startups, when they come to the production of the product and marketing, it would be a good idea to cooperate with Taiwanese companies to go into China market, in Asia market.
And Tsai Ing-wen, the president of Taiwan, was here this past year. Do you feel like that visit was positive, that things are on the right track?
Things were always on the right track, but the business community must know more about the possibilities and about the opportunities, not only on the high-tech. There are possibilities in water technology, medical, biomedical technologies, a lot of innovations. Taiwan is also having really some innovation centers and developments, and the cooperation could be really nice. And there are, since the last year, there are a lot of delegations coming from Taiwan to Israel, and now also Israelis from Taiwan. I actually came back also lately from Taiwan with a delegation, and it was really amazing and surprising to see what the Taiwanese has achieved during these last years.
Absolutely, and today is a big day for Taiwan. It's Taiwan's National Day. Now, of course, something we mentioned at the beginning and sort of alluded to is this tension between Taiwan and mainland China. Can you speak a little bit to how that tension that helps or hinders, as the case may be, Taiwan's global relationships on the economic front?
China does meet some barrier for our developing economic relations abroad. Let me give you an example. Taiwan's entry of World Trade Organization, WTO, for example. Many years ago, after we finished our negotiations with relevant parties and qualified to join this organization, but because China insisted that they must join first before us, so we wait until they finish their negotiation on 11th of November 2001. But the next day, we joined the WTO. Fortunately, I think trade or economic affairs is a sphere. Mutual benefit and interest are the main consideration, and the politics have limitations. In the past few decades, Taiwan's businessmen perform well and hard, but we see now Taiwan has become a big economic entity in the world. Finally, I have to say that Taiwan inherits traditional Confucius culture. This culture teaches our people to be honest and reliable. So many foreign friends told me they always feel relaxed and do business with Taiwan because Taiwanese business people are reliable.
Absolutely. And Mr. Doron, I want to actually address the same question to you coming from an outsider's perspective, this sort of tension between whether, sort of China's opinion that Taiwan is part of China and many in Taiwan who say that Taiwan is sovereign. How does that, for you as someone who deals on the economic front, on the business front with Taiwan and presumably with China, how does that seem to you? How does that help or hinder the relationship from your perspective?
Yeah, like I mentioned before, the business relationship between Taiwan, economic and business relationship between Taiwan and China, they are getting bigger and bigger. A few years ago, there was no direct flights even between Taipei and China. Now they have more than 70, 80 flights a day, and this is mainly for the business purposes. A lot of Taiwanese people are having, or companies having their companies in China, many of them sending semi-finished products and then being assembled in China. So there is really a lot of cooperation between the two countries, and the Israelis, they can really join in that easily.
Absolutely. Thank you both so much for joining me today. Ayman, back to you.